Don't feed Nunu. Nunu is a high mobility champion that can be played effectively as a tank, support, damage dealer, or a hybrid of these. He has strong buffs and debuffs built into his ability kit. Nunu's passive is Visionary, which allows him to cast any spell without using mana after 7 normal attacks. This buff clears if Nunu dies before utilizing it. Nunu's Consume causes him to attack a target minion or monster, dealing a large amount of true damage that ignores armor and magic resist. Additionally, Nunu is healed for a significant amount of health. The healing component of Consume scales well from ability power and can be very powerful if he has AP items. Consume is very strong in the jungle, where it effectively acts as a second smite on a much shorter cooldown. Nunu can consume player-owned minions as well, such as Annie's Tivers. Nunu's Blood Boil is a targeted ability that significantly increases the attack and movement speed of an ally for 15 seconds. Though he can target this on himself, if he chooses to use it on an allied champion or minion, he will also gain the buff on himself. Blood Boil lasts as long as its base cooldown, allowing Nunu to keep it up permanently provided he can sustain the mana. With high cooldown reduction, Nunu can keep very high uptime on 2 allies other than himself. Nunu's Ice Blast causes him to throw a snowball at an enemy, dramatically slowing their movement speed and decreasing their attack speed for 4 seconds. Ice Blast deals significant magic damage and scales well with ability power. This has a good range and can be used both to pursue enemies and prevent enemies from coming into range of him or his allies. With cooldown reduction, this debuff can be kept active permanently. The ability does benefit from Rylai's Crystal Scepter for a stronger slow. Nunu's ultimate is Absolute Zero. This ability is an AoE effect that dramatically slows all affected enemies and reduces their attack speed. After channeling for 3 seconds, the spell will end, dealing extremely high magic damage to all enemies still within the effect. This damage scales extremely well with ability power. Absolute Zero can be stopped early with hard crowd controls. If the ability is stopped early, it will still deal damage, but considerably less than if it had finished channeling. Nunu can also cancel the effect on himself for reduced damage, and may choose to do so when it becomes clear that his targets will escape the area before the channeling would normally complete. If Absolute Zero is cast while Nunu is not visible, enemy champions will not see any of the animation. Because of this, the ability is often most effective when used from inside bushes as part of an ambush. Nunu is marked as a recommended champion by Riot. With high sustainability and survivability and his ability to get away from bad situations, he is a forgiving champion. On top of this, he's good at supporting his teammates, both in helping them get kills and helping them escape, and he can do this even if he's doing poorly in the game. On the whole, he is one of the better picks for new League of Legends players. Watch out for Nunu's item build. He can go for serious damage through ability power and magic penetration, which makes him more of a threat but much easier to kill, provided he is bursted before he can consume a minion. If Nunu has masteries and runes built for this role and has some basic mana regen or the Clarity Summoner skill, he can be an extremely good harasser in the early game. Alternatively, he may go for more of a support role, building cooldown reduction and support items with survivability. By doing this, he is much less of an initial threat in fights, but can sustain his buffs and debuffs far more effectively. In the early game, Nunu is best harassed by AD carries who can stay just beyond the throw range of his Ice Blast. Continually harassing him as he comes near minions will prevent him from building Visionary stacks for free spells and help deplete his mana as well as his health. Throughout the game, do everything you can to secure a kill on Nunu before he can get in range of minions or monsters that could potentially heal him. Pet champions like Annie should avoid summoning their own minions unless the risk is necessary. Nunu's ultimate is extremely dangerous but also very easy to handle. If possible, have at least one person on your team responsible for saving a hard crowd control for immediate use when Nunu begins channeling his ultimate. If you don't have an immediate interrupt, don't forget that he can cancel his ult early if he chooses, so prioritize getting out of the area immediately before doing anything else. Also, be careful not to phase check bushes or run into melee range of Nunu unless you have a clear escape, such as a blink, or you can crowd control him. An Ice Blast combined with being near the center of his ultimate can make it impossible to get out of the area. Against competent players, Nunu won't see many opportunities to finish his ult and deal full damage to multiple players. Instead, it may be ideal for him to look for places where his ult can help secure kills or initiate a fight by forcing the enemy team out of position. Simply dividing a team and making players easier to focus fire by his team can be enough for the ultimate to be effective, even if it deals little or no damage to enemy champions. Additionally, he may find it useful to fire it for the slow, simply to help allies escape a bad situation. Thanks for watching this Don't Feed. Be sure to subscribe with the button on the upper right, and check out the companion build guide with Nunu's runes, masteries, items, and skills, as it comes out by clicking the movie thumbnail to the right. You can also check out my previous movie in this series, Don't Feed Volibear, by clicking the movie thumbnail in the bottom right. As always, check the movie information box below for general thoughts and series updates, and let your friends know about this series to help promote it in the League of Legends community.